Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And in this video, I'm doing something I haven't done before on my channel. I went out and a couple weeks ago and bought a record player for the first time, and I bought some vinyl for it. At this point, I haven't had any vinyl or even any CDs, any kind of collection of music. I've been mostly just listening to all my music on Spotify and on YouTube. But then I was kind of inspired to buy something, or something I wanted to do for a while after getting my YouTube channel and kind of watching other YouTube channels in the vinyl community and seeing all these people with these pretty cool collections of both vinyl and CDs. And it's people like Rich Strickler that I've a channel that I've been subscribed to for a while and really like his channel, and kind of become friends with Rich, I think. And he has an amazing collection. He's always showing all his vinyl and CDs, and I'm sure he has hundreds and hundreds of that. Also, Brian for Macy's Main Entertainment. Brian, I know he said he has like, I want to say 700 vinyls and like 900 CDs. And there's tons of other ones. Glenn Kelly from the Basement. Sam St. John, JJ 22 Explosive Hits, Robert on the Turntable, Andrew Dixon, tons of others that have just these incredible collections of vinyl and CDs, and they're always showing them off. And I'm always watching, just kind of jealous, like, man, I'd love to have that kind of collection. I do like collecting things, in a sense, so it's kind of down my alley. But I never thought about collecting music ever since when I was a kid, we had cassette tapes, and we had cassette, albums, and I would listen to the albums and compilation albums that we had, and I loved that. I loved listening to it on my Sony Walkman and in the car. And then CDs came around, really became big when I was, junior high maybe, somewhere around that area, and maybe even before that. And then all of a sudden I started buying CDs instead of cassette tapes, and that was cool to have a CD. It was like so cool, this little round thin disc, and the package of course was bigger than a cassette. And I had some CDs. I didn't have enough money to really collect, but whenever I could, I'd buy CDs of my favorite bands. And that's kind of the way it was for a long time. And then iTunes came around, and then I was starting to make my own CDs, burning music off of iTunes onto CDs. And so I didn't really own albums. I owned just blank CDs with music that I put on it, which I love doing. I used to have a bunch of those and listen to them all the time. Then at some point, I guess maybe a couple years ago, I discovered Spotify, and that just opened up a whole new world where, you pay money for it, but you get like pretty much any album you want to listen to. So to me, it was like, man, I'm paying $10 a month to listen to albums. Instead of having to buy the actual album, I can just listen to it on Spotify, and that's so awesome. I love Spotify, and the fact that I can listen to all this music anytime I want to, all my favorite music. Anyway, so at that point, I kind of got rid of all the CDs I had, and so I don't own any CDs, and I didn't think I needed them anymore because of Spotify. But then once I started the YouTube channel, and I started getting into other YouTube channels, and kind of opened my mind to owning vinyl and CDs and owning music, the physical copy of it. And it's something really cool about having these collections and owning. I never thought about owning an album as a big deal, because to me, I'm more interested in the song than the album. So that's why I loved just burning songs onto CDs, because I don't need an album. I just want my favorite songs, because there's some songs on an album I don't care for. So cut out that, and I just want to listen to the songs I like. But something about watching all these, discussions of best albums and stuff like that. Of course, a couple years ago, I started listening to albums, actually. Once I got Spotify, I started going through all the big albums, and it was kind of fun to go through and kind of get the history of music through that, and kind of listen to what are the big albums, what do people love, what are the famous ones, and kind of expand my knowledge of music. So I really expanded my knowledge of music the last couple of years by, all these YouTube channels, and learning about all this different kind of music, and playing it myself on Spotify. And I always thought it'd be cool to own, especially vinyl. I always thought vinyl was really cool looking, maybe because it's so much bigger. Of course, I love, and there's something about an album. Uh, it's part of its artwork. I love the artwork of how they decide to make the cover, and there's so many different iconic covers. So something cool about just having that, and some of them have inserts and stuff like that that are cool, pictures and stuff. And I don't know, something about that I like, and I don't know, I love the old school aspect of having a big round disc that they used back in the '60s, and so I love the '60s. '60s like my favorite era, decade of music and culture and fashion and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, I never thought about getting a record player, and then all of a sudden that became big again to own records, and so uh, I went out and bought me a Victrola, I think it's called, from Walmart for like $60, not too expensive. Uh, Anyways, and so now I'm starting to kind of get into buying some vinyl and listening to it on there, and I just love it. Love getting the vinyl out, putting it on there, listen to it kind of the way it was originally made to be listened to. Instead of CDs, you can skip forward and all that stuff. When I had cassette tapes, of course, you had to rewind it. But now I put a record on and I listen to the whole album, like it, and then take it and flip it over. I don't know, something kind of cool about that. That's like, wow, I'm like really old school. Like, listen, had to put the thing on there, flip it over. It's funny because of technology. The great thing about technology is that you don't have to do that kind of stuff. You don't have to flip over the thing. You don't have to. I never thought about side A, side B, but now you have a record that's side A, side B. You have to flip it over. So that's kind of interesting to look at in the mindset of what were they thinking when they made the side A and the side B. And it's just the record or album is just kind of, to me, like a moment of history of that band. Like, this is what they came up with. These were the best songs that represented what they wanted at this point in time and what they wanted for this record and what they put together. I don't know, something about that. And owning a vinyl especially feels like I'm owning a piece of history, even though a lot of people own the same vinyl. There's some fun about having the physical vinyl in your hands, and you got a piece of history in your hands, and taking it out and looking at it and playing it. Just, I don't know, there's something really fun about it to me, I find. And so I finally went and bought me a record player and bought me some vinyl. Anyways, I'm really enjoying getting into that. I'm obviously way behind all these people that have hundreds of vinyls that they spent decades of collecting. So I won't be getting. I doubt I'll ever have hundreds of vinyl, but I'll have at least some kind of small collection of vinyl. I hope in the future, kind of build it up slowly, and maybe I'll start buying CDs because I find that there's some vinyl that you can't, or some albums you can't find on vinyl, or if I do find it on vinyl, it's usually like real expensive. CDs a little bit cheaper, so I don't know. I might look into buying CDs too, and kind of collecting it that way, and kind of fun way to collect like I said, music that you love, and it's fun to be able to show it on video and the physical thing and talk about it. It's a little bit easier than just to talk about it as something you can't see or feel. But anyway, so that's a long intro into this video that I was wanting to show my first vinyl purchases, as a lot of people that own vinyl, they love to show it off. Anyways, so I don't do, not something I do too much, but since I'm just buying it for the first time, it might be fun just to look at it. Anyways, so first piece of vinyl, bought Beatles, Rubber Soul, one of my favorite albums of all time, one of my favorite Beatle albums. Of course, huge Beatle fan, one I've always loved. And I love having this physical vinyl here. I think the Beatles, as I think about the Beatles covers, the White Album might be like the only one that doesn't have any kind of visual representation of the band. I think all of them are usually pictures of the band members, except for like Revolvers, like a drawing of the band members. But that's pretty much. There's some albums where you don't have the band members at all, but I'm sure it was mostly popular this time. You want the band members in it. You want to see the band members in it. And it's not as artistic as in the future, I think, albums will probably be. So a lot of times they just get them four together and they put them in some kind of configuration. And around it here, we got Rubber Soul, four of them with the Rubber Soul, but everything's kind of stretched out. So we're kind of getting more, I think, psychedelic era with the way this is photographed. A little bit different. The Beatles are changing a little bit at this time, especially the Rubber Soul thing, of course, stretched out and everything. And man, the Beatles look the most Beatle-esque. It seems like in this picture. I was looking at this, kind of studying it, and like, man, those are great Beatle haircuts. Like that's the best they've looked, I think. Ringo especially. I don't remember his hair being that long, but I was like, man, his hair. He really grew out his hair. This is about the longest I've seen their hair, without being like too long. But it's that great Beatle haircut look. The thing I love about this photo, as I was looking at it, is like, you have the four Beatles here, and like John is looking like right at the camera. The other Beatles were looking off the side, except for him. It makes me think that when they did, they probably took a bunch of photos, and they picked the one they thought was the best. Um, Looking at it, I imagine they're like, all right, we're gonna have the four of you line up, and now everybody look to this direction, maybe look that direction. I don't know. I have a feeling they probably directed them to look at to what their to their right. Like everybody looked to your right, except for John didn't look to his right at this time. He looked right at the camera. The other ones followed direction, looked to the right. John's like, no, I'm looking at the camera. Anyway, so that's kind of, I don't know. I never noticed that before until I was looking at the vinyl. Like, I don't know, why is John looking straight at the camera anyways? But I thought that was interesting. And then in the back, we just got two photos of each Beatle. I counted. See, they wanted to make it even, I'm sure. Just random photos that they did, I suppose, they took all these photos anyways. But it's cool seeing the back there, and we got the track list here and all that. Of course, great album. One of the greatest. Of course, you start off with, Drive My Car, good rock opener. And you end with Michelle on side A, which was a big song. It was a Grammy winning song. And side B, you got What Goes On, which is not a great opener for side B. One of the weaker songs on here. Then Run for Your Life is one of probably the worst songs on here. So not great sequencing. Like I would have ended it with maybe In My Life or something, the best song on here. Anyways, but like listening to in order, I kind of noticed like, because you know sequencing a little more when you listen to the actual album in order. But I was thinking like, I mean the starting with Drive My Car, then going to Norwegian Wood, You Won't See Me, Nowhere Man. I mean, that is a great first four songs. I mean, that's amazing. That's what's so great about this album, is those are some of the best Beatles songs ever. And so it's like, man, that's a great four in a row songs. And then it gets a little bit weaker after that, even though they're not bad songs. That's definitely like great. And then I love the inside B. You have In My Life, Wait, and If I Needed Someone. Man, those are three killer songs right in a row. And when you're listening to the album, you're just going, oh man, this is a great song. This is a great song. Obviously, In My Life, I think is the best song on here, but Wait is underrated, and If I Need Someone's underrated. Great Beatles songs, great harmonies. Just so fun listening to this on the record, and I thought it sounded great on the record. I'm used to listening to music on my headphones, but not out loud, but that was kind of fun. All right, and then I'm going to talk about the second album I bought, vinyl. It's referred to as Led Zeppelin 4. You got that iconic picture. There's a guy with sticks on his back for some reason. I don't know why. This is a weird cover. It's a weird picture. It looks like it's a picture. It's a picture of a picture. Why a picture of a picture on a wall? Why they thought that was a good cover? I don't know. This is kind of a weird cover, and it looks like they're on a wall, and then this is like some kind of village somewhere. I don't know what the background of this. Maybe there's an interesting background to this. I haven't researched, but interesting. Doesn't say Led Zeppelin on it. Doesn't say Led Zeppelin 4. We just call it Led Zeppelin 4, I think, because it's the fourth album, and all the other ones are called Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3. And so this is called Led Zeppelin 4, but I don't know if it's officially called that, but that's what we all call it. And on the back, there's no song list or nothing. Anyway, very strange cover. You wouldn't know, except I just know it's Led Zeppelin 4 because I've seen this cover so many times with a weird guy with sticks on his back. I think they're sticks. That's what it looks like. The inside, interesting. There's like evidently a drawing of like this statue looking over this town. I don't know. Interesting drawing on the inside. Kind of gives it something anyways. But inside the album itself, it has this insert that has the track listing, what songs are on there. It doesn't give the time, how much they are. Usually on the thing it gives how long each song is. And then interestingly, it has all the lyrics to Stairway to Heaven. So if you want to read what the lyrics are, trying to analyze that maybe. So it has that in there, so you kind of get an idea of what's on the album. And again, just a great album, one of the greatest albums, my favorite Led Zeppelin album. big fan of Led Zeppelin, one of the great rock bands of all time. Love the guitar riffs and guitar solos. Jimmy Page is one of the greatest guitarists of all time, and just really works. I especially love that it's only 8 songs long, so I mean it's not too many songs. You get through, I say, fairly quickly. Some of the songs are long, like "Stairway to Heaven." "When the Levee Breaks," I think, a pretty long song. So, but still easy to get through. Just 8 songs, and almost all of them are killer songs. So I mean, it's one of the great albums because of that. You begin side A with "Black Dog," amazing rock song to start an album. I mean, just gets you right in the mood. And then you end side A with "Stairway to Heaven." I mean, the greatest Led Zeppelin song of all time, one of my favorite songs of all time. So I mean, what an amazing way to begin and end a side. I mean, I think this album's so good with the sequencing. With that, side B, you begin with Misty Mountain Hop, which I didn't remember the song. When I looked at it, I was like, "What is this song?" And then when I listened to it, I was like, "Oh yeah, this song. This song's amazing." It's another great Led Zeppelin rock song that I don't know, I kind of forgot about. And then you end side B with "When the Levee Breaks." I don't know if it's a well-known. It's kind of a long song, not a lot of lyrics. It's mostly instrumental, but it's a really great like rock groove song that kind of repeats itself. But it's so good that you don't mind that it's kind of a repetitious song. Anyway, so still a pretty good way to end that album. So I say, listen to that. Amazing, sounds great. Really love it anyway. So that's my first 2 vinyls, Rubber Soul, Zeppelin Four, which I figure is pretty good. If I want to buy my first vinyl, not too bad choices to buy to start my vinyl collection anyway. So that's my first 2 in my slowly growing vinyl collection, to some of the greats like Rich Strickler and Glenn Kellaway and all that, and Brian. And probably never get to your guys' level, but I'll get somewhere anyways and have a little fun. So thank you for watching this video. Tell me what you think about these albums, and all, if you own them, what you like. Just thank you for watching the video and subscribe, or for liking the video, and thank you to all the subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. Have a good day.